Hello, everyone. My name is Max Shelkin. I'm a consultant. Today, we are at IFZA headquarters in Dubai, Silicon Oasis. With me is David Liam. He is an IFZA representative, and what we will discuss is IFZA Free Zone itself. This video hopefully would be useful for anyone who considers opening a company in UAE, for anyone who tries to choose the proper free zone, or just overall tries to understand IFZA as a free zone, what kind of services and packages and solutions even it offers. David, can you tell us a little bit about IFZA itself, its history, how it started, and where it is right now?
Yeah, for sure, Max. In terms of IFZA, they were established in 2018 in Fujairah. And then around 2020, they moved and they started in DSO as well, because we saw, the market is growing significantly in Dubai. And we still do have a team in Fujairah as well that's operational there. But majority of the team is in Dubai now, in DSO, Dubai Silicon Oasis. The biggest thing with IFZA is, we primarily operate on a B2B model, right? So we usually work with channel partners in terms of helping them work with their clients, helping them in terms of marketing, getting clients, and kind of growing together. Right? That's the whole concept of IFZA.
All right. So the first question I think that would be logical to ask is, can a business owner who decided to open a company in UAE approach IFZA directly? Or, since you mentioned B2B model, does he have to go to a channel partner? Or
Yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, majority of our business does come from B2B basis, because that's the core of our business model. But definitely, I mean, if there is a client that does approach IFZA directly, it is our right. We have to legally assist the client, right? But usually, we try to work with these clients to understand if there is a channel partner that they're working with beforehand. And there's a primary reason behind that, right? Is because the channel partners are designed to assist the client from A to Z. Whereas as IFZA, we are the issuing authority in terms of licensing, right? So we help the client up until, from getting the license, getting the establishment card, and then the visa. But usually, I mean, most of the time, we already know clients are looking for something a bit more than that, right? They're looking for someone to help them with, let's say, flight tickets, with entering the country, with picking them up from the airport, taking them to the medical. So these sort of things is where we don't assist them with. So we usually recommend the client go with a channel partner in order to be able to kind of get that full solution in one place, right?
Yeah, to be honest, the whole process in UAE is slightly confusing, especially if you're used to doing business in some Western countries where everything is, I'd say, more or less straightforward. It does not mean that UAE is underdeveloped in this sense. It's just a result of the immigration system that it has in place. Because over here in UAE, there has to be, some sort of a sponsor that sponsors a visa of every resident. It can be the government itself. It can be a company that you open as a business owner. It can be your wife, your husband, etc., etc. So there are a lot of different variations to this problem. But the main point is the system is a little bit confusing if you're dealing with UAE for the first time. So yes, IFZA can, to recap, IFZA can assist with company formation directly to you as a business owner. But if you need something more than that, maybe even assistance with account opening, inside the bank, or you need assistance with tax-related matters, then it's best to approach a consultant because you'd get that like one-stop shop kind of solution. Right. Another topic that I think should be of interest is what kind of solutions IFZA offers, what kind of value proposition it has. So let's imagine I'm a business owner. I came to Dubai. I have a lot of options to choose from. There is close to 50 free zones throughout the UAE.
Yep.
And there is IFZA. Why IFZA?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very fair question. Actually, a very good question. We get this on a daily basis, of course, working with channel partners where they are working with many free zones as well. And of course, we work with them to try and position IFZA. All right. The biggest difference that or let's say the value proposition that we have. Um, you've seen the buildings over here. We're one of the few free zones that actually have office spaces for rent for the clients, right? Where so you don't need to go elsewhere. You can get your license from here, you get your establishment card from here, your visa, your office space. And to kind of add to that, we are situated in one of the best areas in Dubai, right? We're close to downtown, we're close to the airport. We are in Dubai Silicon Oasis, which took their name from the Silicon Valley in the US. So we're in kind of that tech hub. So in terms of clients that are opening in that field, we're in the best area that they can be for networking opportunities, for meeting clients, for partners, things like that. Now, in terms of, let's say, value proposition in itself, some of the offers that, we have is we have a free visa for life package right now that we're giving. I mean, we're one of the only free zones, if not the only free zone that's offering this promotion, where if the client is interested in taking a visa, they get one of their visas for free, completely covered by IFZA on the setup and on renewal, right? Okay. A lot of people, especially in the international markets, I mean, this is unheard of, all right? And this is one of our biggest selling propositions, right? Our unique selling propositions. Now, second thing is, almost all the free zones assist you with corporate banking setup. We're one of the only free zones, again, if not the only, where we actually have a corporate banking team situated in-house to be able to help the partners and the clients, right? The clients can book an appointment with them, or even the partner can bring the client with them and book an appointment with them. And it's always better, because I've seen it many times, the client is coming in, they try to open with a bank directly, and they tend to get rejected. But when they come do it through IFZA, they get accepted, right? It's because we are going as an organization or as a free zone to the bank rather than as an individual, let's say, business.
Oh, all right. Well, sounds very interesting. And before we move on to activities that IFZA can cover, I'd like to slightly elaborate about the location, why it's important that IFZA is located in Dubai Silicon Oasis and not somewhere else. The simple answer is free zone companies, they are tied to a location of the free zone itself. And so if you incorporate a free zone company, you cannot go outside of the free zone and lease an office somewhere, again, outside of the free zone in some other emirate or outside of the UAE. You are tied to a specific location of that free zone. You have to approach the free zone if you want to rent or lease something. And this is why the location that IFZA offers is such a good value proposition.
Yep.
It's indeed very close to downtown, but we are located ourselves in Dubai Silicon Oasis, and we are registered with IFZA as a business. And the reason why we chose IFZA is because we could save some time on traffic, commute. It's a convenient location overall. So yeah, I completely, understand the point, and I share it, fully. And uh, going back to activities, what kind of activities IFZA offers?
Yeah, I mean, we offer a lot. We have almost 1,000 activities. Anything from management consultancies, IT consultancies, general trading, e-commerce, anything that you can think of, we technically have it. There's actually, one key value in that as well. There are some activities which are regulated, right, by third-party authorities. I think, you can kind of share more about your experience with that. We are one of the only free zones which actually share it detail by detail on how to apply with these third-party authorities, right? Where, let's say, there's a client that's looking to get, something related to sports, for example, which is regulated by the Dubai Sports Council. Part of the process is, as they're doing the incorporation of their company, we actually share with you a document that guides you through step by step of how to get that third-party approval. All right. I don't know, you can speak more about the experience with the
Oh no, it's true.
other free zones over here, but essentially, we kind of, we love to create that seamless experience for the client, similarly to the partner as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah, IFZA gives an overview of the process, And if you even, as a businessman would decide to approach the whole process yourself, you can rely on the blueprint. I'm not even sure if I can call it big, well, kind of like the guidance.
Yeah, like a guideline kind of.
Yeah, you can rely on the basic guide that IFZA offers in order to get that approval that you seek. All right. What kind of facilities IFZA offers? Is it possible to rent a warehouse, for example, over here? There are definitely offices. So we are right now, in a building that has a lot of offices. Um, you know, are there any warehouses, anything else that could be, leased or leveraged by different businesses?
In terms of warehouses, we don't have it in the location, right? In Dubai Silicon Oasis. So the client would need to rent a warehouse, usually, typically in other areas, let's say Dubai and TIP, Dubai Investment Park, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah. It depends, right? This is why we usually, we work on a client or with a client or with a partner on guiding the client what's the best way to approach their business, right? Because I think there's a big gap in this. So a lot of clients think, I personally experienced this with a partner's client where they wanted to get a warehouse, but they didn't understand the logistics of it and the costs and the fees and all that kind of stuff. And since we don't have it, they had to reach out to warehouses, and there's just a lot of misinformation. Usually my guide for clients or my advice for clients that are looking to get a warehouse is to try and sublease it first, right? Because what they don't understand, especially in the UAE, a lot of things are regulated, and it's very easy to get fines, right? So as you know, yeah, I'd be small, yeah, that the hidden tax,
Yeah, that's fine.
right?
But to be fair, you have to abide by the law.
Yeah.
It's true in every single country around the world. It's just over here because the relative income and I'm not even sure what it's called properly. Like the population over here, to put it simply, population over here usually has money. So if you penalize them, with small amounts, they will just pay it as a fee to do bad things.
Yeah.
So the government is even, I think, forced to enact those like harsh penalties to make sure that no one breaks the law. Because the amount of people who are, to put it simply, rich and can afford to just, pay the fine, it's relatively higher than in most other countries. So yeah, this is the case. That's why, when we say that it's easy to get penalties, and the penalties are, substantial, we're not joking. They are substantial, and it's, relatively easy to get them if you do not abide by the law. Correct. Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you're looking at getting a warehouse, I usually recommend subleasing instead of you actually renting the warehouse yourselves, because there's a lot of hidden costs and permits and regulatory things which you need to get, which just kind of come up once you've rented the warehouse, right? Whereas if you are subleasing, you're not liable for that. Of course, you are now, it is whoever's renting the warehouse is liable to provide you with these things. Right? So typically, as a small business owner, that's usually what I recommend for the first year at least, to get your foot into the door. And then once you're familiar with all the regulations, you can rent your own warehouse at that point.
All right. One of the questions that we'd also like to ask is how comparatively successful IFZA is. Yeah. Maybe there is some sort of a statistic that you could share, like the occupancy rate or the number of licenses, maybe even.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things that speak to our success. And I think this primarily does come from our channel partners, right? Because we really focus on helping them grow. And our main focus is, the driver for this is their success is our success, right? Because we rely on them as well. So our goal is to make sure that they're doing things properly. They're working on their clients, they're maintaining their clients. So, there are a couple of factors. When we look at IFZA as a whole, we started, like I mentioned, in 2017, and up until now, we've been seeing consistent growth year over year. This is public data. You can see the employee size growth significantly, right? So we're close to, I believe, 700, 800 employees now across all of IFZA. We're expanding into international markets. We opened in Panama, and Seychelles. And, we're also working in kind of Europe and China, right? Because these are the global markets that, we see a lot of people migrating to UAE from, right? These are some of the nationalities actually that are highest in terms of migration, right? So we're really focused on not just UAE, but more so the international markets as well. I mean, it's in our name, right? It's the International Free Zone Authority to make sure that we're the go-to free zone for these clients, right? And of course, in terms of occupancy size, like I mentioned, we have a lot of offices. We actually have, a wait line for the offices. Just like, I'm not sure about the updated data right now, but a couple months ago, there was almost a 6 months wait time, all right, which is huge. So, we're definitely seeing growth. It's definitely thanks to a lot of our channel partners that we're working with. It's a teamwork.
All right. And to finalize, David, can you say something about IFZA that would make a entrepreneur or a businessman to choose IFZA in particular instead of any other free zone?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see, the biggest thing that the client usually cares about in any industry is the service.
Yeah.
All right. And when you're opening up your company with IFZA, our team is so diverse. They're from almost from, majority of the world, right? We have different nationalities. They speak different languages. And so there's that a human touch to it. All right. The client is never left alone. The partner is never left alone. We kind of hold their hands up until the end, right? Whether it is, again, like I mentioned, opening the license, opening the visa, opening the bank. Because the biggest problems, you know this in the industry is you get your license and you cannot open your bank, or you get your license, you cannot get your visa, right? So there is a process to it. There is a right way to do it. And I think this is the biggest and the core thing that differentiates us is that we tend to work with the client from A to Z, right? And the second biggest factor is the after service, right? So when you're looking at that, because a lot of times, we kind of briefly touched on it, there's a corporate tax registration, right? Which is mandatory within 90 days to do. A lot of clients don't know this, right? And this is why we usually recommend clients work with channel partners, because that's where they can actually help them on these things, right? But even with us, we can guide the client and we share this information and we send multiple reminders, right? And they can come here and get all this information as well. So it's really, truly one-stop shop for the partners, regardless of the language they speak, because we have someone that probably speaks that language as well, right? Because the team is just so diverse. And so I think when it comes down to it, to a serious business owner that wants to open in a key location, which is Dubai Silicon Oasis, with a very strong, reputable free zone that's focused on international market and locally. Truly, we have an amazing team of diverse individuals. We can truly guide the client from A to Z, regardless of what the situation is. And I think that human touch is what makes the difference.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Just to finalize, feel free to approach us, GFLO Consultancy, or IFZA directly. If you decide to go through us as a consultancy, we will be running a promotion. You will receive a company license without any service fees. So we essentially allow you to pay for the license, the actual costs. We will not be charging any service fee. A service fee will apply from the second year. It will be very, very minimal. We can discuss it separately. But yeah, if you wish to open a license, feel free to approach IFZA, David in particular, or myself. Have a good day and see you the next day. Bye.
Bye.